What if one small handful of nuts, something you've been told is healthy, was actually damaging your heart, brain, and bones without you realizing it? It sounds dramatic, but I've seen it firsthand. One patient, Lorraine, 72 years old, widowed sharp, still active, came to me with a troubling mix of symptoms: constant fatigue, brain fog, and a strange heaviness in her legs. No disease, no major diagnosis, just a slow, steady decline in mood, energy, and mobility. And then we discovered her daily habit. She proudly told me I only eat healthy nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts, macadamias, no junk food. That's when it hit me. After age 60, your body doesn't respond the same way. Foods that once helped may now hurt. In fact, a 12-year study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that some nuts actually increase the risk of cardiovascular collapse in older adults by as much as 48%. And that's not a rumor. That's peer-reviewed science. Lorraine didn't need a massive diet overhaul. I asked her to make just one small swap in her nut routine. The results you'll hear soon, and I promise it'll make you think twice before your next handful. In today's episode of True Health Way, we're going to reveal the 4 best nuts every senior should eat, ones that nourish your brain, bones, and circulation. But we'll also look at 4 popular nuts that might be silently harming your memory, raising your blood pressure, or interfering with your medications. And yes, we'll return to Lorraine's story because the transformation she experienced from one simple change was more powerful than either of us expected. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Let's dive in. Let's start with a nut that's small in size but mighty in impact: the Brazil nut. This often overlooked gem contains the highest natural concentration of selenium of any food on Earth. In fact, just one single Brazil nut provides about 137% of your recommended daily intake of selenium. Why does that matter, especially after 60? Because selenium is the mineral that kickstarts your thyroid hormones, and those hormones influence everything: your metabolism, mood, temperature, even how energized or foggy you feel. But it doesn't stop there. Selenium also protects the nervous system by preserving the myelin sheath, a fatty layer that helps your brain send signals quickly and clearly. Without it, you may experience delayed reflexes, poor balance, or memory issues. What's truly remarkable is that the selenium in Brazil nuts is far more bioavailable than what you find in most over-the-counter supplements. That means your body absorbs and uses it more effectively. Take Lorraine, for example, the 72-year-old patient I mentioned earlier. All we did was swap out her daily cashews for just one Brazil nut each morning. In less than 2 weeks, she felt lighter in the mornings, had reduced her coffee intake naturally, and reported sleeping more soundly. At her next checkup 2 months later, she had lost 4 pounds, was thinking more clearly, and her thyroid levels had normalized without a single prescription change. That's the power of food as medicine. But a quick warning: more is not better when it comes to Brazil nuts. Eating more than 2 a day can lead to selenium toxicity, which may cause nausea, brittle hair, or even nerve issues. Stick with just 1 nut a day and buy them in the shell. If possible, the hard shell protects their healthy oils from going rancid. Keep them in the fridge for freshness. 1 nut a day. That's it. And for your thyroid, nerves, and even aging cells, that might be all you need. Now let's move to a nut that looks exactly like the organ it supports: the walnut. It's shaped like a brain, and it's almost poetic how well it serves that very purpose. Walnuts are packed with ALA, a plant-based form of omega-3 fatty acids that your neurons use to repair, rebuild, and communicate. After age 50, our brain naturally begins to shrink. But good fats like those found in walnuts can slow this process down, even restore what's been lost. In one study published in the Journal of Nutrition, seniors who ate about 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily for just 8 weeks showed a 22% improvement in their processing speed, the kind of mental clarity that affects how fast you respond, how easily you remember names, and how well you stay sharp in conversations. But walnuts don't stop at mental focus. They're also rich in polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier and help reduce inflammation, which is a major factor in Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. If you're struggling with sleep, walnuts might be your natural solution. They contain melatonin, the hormone your body makes to regulate sleep, but produces less of as you age. A handful of walnut halves before bed, just 5 to 7, has helped many of my older patients fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. I often say, skip the sleeping pill, grab a handful of walnuts, and turn off the screen. You'll thank yourself in the morning. There's more walnuts contain arginine, an amino acid that improves blood vessel function, helping to lower blood pressure and boost oxygen delivery to your brain and muscles. Just remember to store them in the fridge. Their healthy fats spoil easily at room temperature, and that bitter taste some people notice, it's a sign the oils are starting to oxidize. But don't fear the bitterness. Often it means more antioxidants. If staying sharp, sleeping better, and moving with better circulation are on your wish list, walnuts belong in your daily routine. Next up are almonds, and they may be the most versatile of all. They're packed with magnesium, a mineral that does something extraordinary. It helps move calcium into your bones instead of letting it clog up your arteries. That means stronger bones and a healthier heart at the same time. Just a quarter cup of almonds, about 15–20 nuts, delivers nearly 100 milligrams of calcium, a crucial ally against fractures. Almonds also lower blood pressure, not only because of their magnesium content, but also due to their role in relaxing blood vessels. I once worked with a retired carpenter who gave up stairs due to balance issues and leg cramps. We didn't start with prescriptions. We started with almonds. 3 months later, he was walking daily again, lighter, more confident, more stable. But not all almonds are equal. Eat them raw or dry roasted. Skip the salted versions. Sodium cancels out many of the cardiovascular benefits. Also, don't peel the skin off. That brown skin is where the magic is. It's packed with flavonoids, plant compounds, that protect your brain cells from damage. When combined with vitamin E, also found in almonds, this duo becomes a double antioxidant powerhouse, guarding your memory and helping reduce inflammation. Add almonds to your morning smoothie, oatmeal, or just grab a small handful as a midday snack. They're simple, effective, and supportive of 3 major systems: your bones, your heart, and your mind. And finally, let's talk about the unsung hero of heart health, the pistachio. These colorful little nuts aren't just pretty to look at. They're loaded with potassium, a mineral that helps your kidneys flush out excess salt. That's especially important for seniors trying to manage high blood pressure without relying solely on medication. One serving of pistachios, about 40 nuts, offers around 285 milligrams of potassium, gently lowering systolic pressure and supporting healthy kidney function. They're also rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 key nutrients that protect your eyes from macular degeneration, a common concern as we age. But what makes pistachios unique is how they slow you down. Most come in the shell, which means you have to open each one before eating. That natural pause helps prevent overeating, turning them into a mindful snack. For seniors with dentures or sensitive teeth, pistachios are softer and easier to chew than harder nuts. They also contain about 3 grams of fiber per ounce, helping stabilize blood sugar and improve digestion. I often tell my patients, start small. Have 15 almonds in the morning and 40 pistachios in the afternoon. It's not a diet. It's a daily defense system, a way to feed your future with every handful. If this section helped you rethink the nuts in your pantry, you're already ahead of the game. The right foods don't just nourish, they protect, repair, and even reverse. Coming up next, we'll talk about the 4 worst nuts that seniors should limit or avoid altogether. Some may surprise you, but don't worry, we'll guide you through each one. Stay with us on True Health Way, and remember, food is never just food. It's your first medicine. Now let's shift gears and talk about something just as important: the 4 nuts you may want to limit or avoid entirely, especially after age 60. While some of these might surprise you, the goal here isn't to scare, it's to inform. Because when it comes to aging well, knowing what not to eat is just as powerful as knowing what to include. And we'll begin with one of the most elegant-looking, buttery-tasting nuts of all, the macadamia. These are often marketed as premium or heart-healthy, but that label doesn't tell the full story. Just 1 ounce of macadamias contains over 22 grams of fat, much of it saturated. While that may be fine for a young athlete, it can spell trouble for older adults with slower metabolism or sluggish gallbladders. In fact, I had a patient, Mr. Terrence, who developed persistent stomach pain every afternoon. The culprit? His daily handful of macadamias was triggering gallbladder attacks due to their rich fat load. But that's not all. Macadamias are also soft and easy to overeat, making them one of the most deceptive nuts out there. Most people don't stop at 5 or 6, they keep going. The result? Unwanted weight, gain, rising cholesterol, and stress on the liver. Plus, because these nuts are expensive, many are stored improperly, and their fats oxidize quickly, turning rancid and increasing cellular stress. And let's not forget dental health. Macadamias may be buttery, but they're still dense and can be harsh on aging teeth, especially for those with crowns, implants, or fragile enamel. So here's my advice. Enjoy macadamias as a treat, not a daily snack. Think of them like fine chocolate, something to savor on occasion, not something to rely on for daily nutrition. Next up, pine nuts. These tiny nuts may seem harmless, often sprinkled into pesto or trail mixes, but for seniors, they carry some hidden risks. First, there's a condition known as pine mouth, a strange reaction where everything you eat starts to taste metallic or bitter, sometimes for days or even weeks. For older adults, this can lead to loss of appetite, which can quickly become dangerous if you're already undernourished or losing weight unintentionally. But even more concerning is how pine nuts affect medication. They interact with liver enzyme pathways that process drugs like statins, antidepressants, and blood pressure medications. That means pine nuts can change how your body absorbs and breaks down prescriptions, possibly reducing their effectiveness or increasing side effects. I remember one patient who had suffered from arthritis for years, and she loved her daily trail mix. When we discovered it contained pine nuts and removed them, her joint pain significantly improved within 3 weeks. Coincidence? Maybe, but science supports the link. Pine nuts oxidize easily, and their spoiled oils can contribute to inflammation, particularly in the joints and blood vessels. So while they may look dainty, their impact on medication appetite and inflammation is anything but small. For seniors managing multiple prescriptions, pine nuts are just not worth the risk. Let's now talk about one of the most common and most misunderstood nuts, the peanut. Technically, peanuts aren't even nuts, they're legumes. They grow underground in moist environments that are prime breeding grounds for mold toxins, specifically aflatoxins. These toxins have been linked to liver damage and even liver cancer over time. That's a major red flag for seniors who may already have reduced liver function or are taking liver-metabolized medications. Peanuts also contain very high levels of omega-6 fatty acids, which when consumed in excess fuel inflammation, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. And if you're on blood thinners, like warfarin peanuts, contain vitamin K, which interferes with how your medication works, raising the risk of clotting or bleeding. Now, what about peanut butter? Even the so-called natural versions are often packed with added salt sugar and hydrogenated oils. And because it's creamy and delicious, it's extremely easy to overeat. A spoonful turns into 4, and suddenly you've consumed hundreds of calories without realizing it. If you're over 60 and dealing with joint stiffness, liver concerns, or blood pressure meds, it's wise to cut back. Peanuts might be convenient, but they're not your friend. Finally, let's look at cashews, the nut that fools almost everyone. They taste sweet, they're soft and easy to chew, and they show up on many healthy snack lists. But cashews carry 3 serious risks for seniors. First, they're high in carbohydrates and low in fiber, meaning they can spike your blood sugar quickly and then leave you crashing just as fast. For those with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, this is a hidden danger. I remember one woman, Mrs. O'Hara, who ate cashews daily, believing they were better than cookies. Her afternoon brain fog and energy crashes didn't make sense until we removed the cashews. Within weeks, her blood sugar stabilized and her mental clarity returned. Second cashews are loaded with oxalates compounds that bind to calcium and block its absorption. That's especially dangerous for seniors already facing bone loss or kidney stone risk. Over time, this can silently weaken bones or increase strain on the kidneys. And here's something few people know: raw cashews are actually toxic. They contain urushiol, the same compound found in poison ivy. That's why cashews must be heavily processed, usually roasted or steamed before they're safe to eat. But that processing often adds salt and oil, two things most older adults need to reduce. Finally, cashews also contain enzyme inhibitors that block protein digestion. That can lead to nutrient malabsorption fatigue and even muscle weakness over time. Smooth, sweet, and dangerous in disguise, cashews are not a daily nut for seniors. Now let's take a step back and recap what we've learned. Among the nuts that truly support healthy aging, Brazil nuts stand out for thyroid nerve function and DNA protection. Walnuts support brain health, sleep, and circulation. Almonds strengthen your bones, clean your arteries, and protect your memory. And pistachios help control blood pressure, stabilize blood sugar, and support vision. These are your allies, nutritional tools that work with your body, not against it. In contrast, the four nuts that deserve more caution are macadamias, which strain the gallbladder and add excess saturated fat; pine nuts, which interfere with medications and inflame joints; peanuts, which carry mold toxins and disrupt your omega balance; and cashews, which spike blood sugar damage, kidneys, and weaken bones over time. Each of these may seem small on their own, but the effects accumulate. Over months or years, your daily nut habit shapes your clarity, energy, and independence. So here's my question to you. Which nut will you add this week, and which one will you let go? Type your answer in the comments below. I read every single story, every transformation, because they inspire the next person. If this video helped you see nuts in a new light, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to True Health Way for more wisdom-backed health strategies made just for you. Stay strong, stay sharp. We're rooting for you.